Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. I sell used books, CDs, and DVDs online on platforms like eBay and Amazon, and that is what I do full time to support my family. Today is a Monday morning. We got 39 orders going out on eBay. We also had a great weekend on Amazon, so sales are looking good. It is September 8th today. You might be watching this on the 9th or the 10th or whenever you watch this, but I'm starting to see that ramp up towards Christmas time. Holiday season, gift giving. But we're gonna be shipping out a whole bunch of orders today. Kind of got a short week, got some family stuff going on this week. Not gonna be doing as much working this week, so I did take apart one sewing machine over the weekend. Need to get those parts listed later today. Sewing machine parts are one of the few things I am not listing with AI right now. List Easier is my current preferred AI lister of choice because it just works. But with the sewing machine parts, I have a template, and I'm listing them so fast there that I think it just makes sense to do it there still on eBay, the way I've been doing them for a couple of years now. Hang on one second. Let me be right back. Sorry about that. We had somebody come in here, but anyways, I printed the shipping label. There we go. So yeah, doing all my listing with List Easier. The plan for this week is 135 units going up on eBay, plus that sewing machine that I did kind of extra. And then Amazon is what we are going to drop this week since we have some other stuff going on and I'm not going to be working a lot this week. So I'm going to send just one box to Amazon. Maybe two if I get done really fast today and we just have some extra time. So that's kind of the plan for the week. Kind of definitely a much lighter week just because I got other stuff going on. But yeah, I went sourcing last week. Did really good. I've been going more towards Tulsa lately, venturing out to a more populated area and finding more stuff. So that seems to be working really well for me. I am paying a bit more going to the more populated area, but I'm finding more stuff per hour, if that makes sense. So it seems to be working pretty good. Here's all these window stick clean type things. These are all vintage, mostly Christmas related. This is something that is kind of, I'll call it the legacy part of my store. That is a term that Josh Galt uses a lot. I kind of like it. Stuff I am not currently listing, but we have kept it listed because when it sells, we can still make money. I see no reason to currently delist it. Let's try it in one of these bubble mailers real quick. A lot of my store is legacy stuff. We did sell a few legacy items today, but legacy items in my store would be like clothing, these random window clean things. We've got an exhaust manifold over here. We've got some Harley parts. Although the Harley parts I listed recently. While my store specializes in media, books, CDs, DVDs, the occasional record, I do still like from time to time just to go in and list some other stuff because you know what? I don't like doing the same thing every single day. It's nice to have a little bit of variety. What is that saying? Variety is the spice of life. And I think it's good, sometimes on a Friday, you've got all your media stuff done to go and list a bunch of vintage window hangs. And in this case, the buyer is all in $19.90. It's going to cost us $4.69 to ship it out. You know what? After fees, put $10 in our pocket or something. I don't see a problem with that. Up next, this is one of the best ROI items of the year just because the buy cost was almost nothing. This place has books typically for 10 cents. Everything was 50% off that day. So we paid a nickel for this. I picked it up on a whim just because it had a lot of good looking stuff to me. Money Making Secrets of Marketing Genius J. Abrams and Other Marketing Wizards by Mr. X. Sometimes this stuff is good, sometimes it is not. This one, the buyer is all in $87.99. So we took a nickel, turned it into $87.99. Somebody can do the math on that ROI there. That is stupid percentages. Stupid high, but we made $60 or something. A lot of fun to do that. Take a nickel, turn it into $86 or $87.99. Yes, I have to pay shipping. Yes, I have to pay fees out of that, but we're going to ship this for $4.51. Fees are going to be like 15% on that $87. We're going to make plenty of money. And it didn't take that long to sell either. Up next, we got the United States in the Near East by E.A. Spicer. I think that's how we're going to pronounce that. Going to put it in one of these bubble mailers. We get these bubble mailers from Gyro Pack. There is a link down in the description where you can get 10% off. Anyways, that's my plan for the week. 135 listed on eBay. We are increasing that by 5 a week. I'm thinking about starting to increase that number by 10 a week, just because I have figured out a couple of different ways to source some more eBay stuff fairly cheaply. Basically getting it from some people that just sell on Amazon. And since I'm having this influx of good eBay material, I'm starting to get backed up with how much we have on hand. I have a larger death pile now than I have had since we have moved into this house. We've been in this house, oh gosh, probably getting close to 6 months now. And I'm finally at the point where I have over a week's worth of stuff here. I don't think I quite have 2 weeks of stuff here, but we have over a week's worth of stuff. All right, guys, I want to talk to you real quick about ThriftBooks. They are today's video sponsor. ThriftBooks is one of the largest sellers of used books online, and they want to buy books from you. But the question is, why would you want to sell your books to them instead of selling them yourselves online on platforms like eBay and Amazon? And there's a bunch of different reasons. Number one, logistics. If you are sending your books to ThriftBooks, you don't have to grade them yourselves. You don't have to condition them. You don't have to put that extra time and care into a book like you would need to if you were selling it on eBay or Amazon. No photos, no listing, no nothing. Just throw it in a box, ship it off to them. They provide free shipping labels via media mail, which can be picked up at your door with USPS. Or if you're shipping whole truckloads, pallets, gaylords, whatever that is, they will handle the shipping for you. Just reach out to them, talk to them. They do an amazing job with this. Also, there's no additional fees. Whatever they quote you is what they're going to pay you. You're going to get money in your pocket right away. If you're selling on eBay or Amazon, you're going to have to wait for that sale and then wait a few days, a few weeks, a few months, maybe with Amazon to actually get your money out. But with them, as soon as they get things checked in and it's all good, they're going to send you money either via PayPal or store credit that you can use right away. So that is absolutely great. Very fast turnover. Get the money back in your pocket right away. Also, if you have like list of ISBNs, like you want to upload 100 or 200 ISBNs at a time, they do have bulk ISBN uploads. You can get through things super duper fast that way. No like scanning things one at a time and doing all that. They do have the option to like upload tons of ISBNs all at once. And with this, doing all this, it's going to allow you to spend less time selling the books. You're going to be able to spend more time on your business, more time developing relationships, more time working on your processes. And you know what? If you want to check them out, go to thriftbooks.com/buyback, which I'll put a link down in the description below, and you can get started that way. Anyways, back to the video. Let's see. This is The Snow Queen by Naomi Lewis, ex-library. Buyer paid $19.47. Going to Michigan. Somebody left me a comment the other day. They're like, I think the title was like 30 things that can sell on eBay, or I sold on eBay over the week, something like that. 30 was kind of the keyword I was looking for to try and get people to click on the video. They were like, 30 items, but they're all books. I'm like, yeah, that's what we do here. We do books, we do CDs, we do some other stuff. We got a hat. Richardson R Flex, extra small/small. Betting somebody needs this for like baseball or something. Buyer paid $18.05. We've got a lot of hats still in the store. Hats is like in my top 20 highest selling categories for the year. It's not something I have listed at all this year, but it's something we've made. I don't know. I think we're right around $1,000 on hats we've made this year. So that's cool. They're worth keeping around. It's a category that I feel like is going to be really hard to get into moving forward, just because they're not a commodity like a book. Like, somebody is going to be looking for this specific book when they're looking for it. Typically, somebody is looking for this specific book, St. Elmo by Augusta, when they're looking for a book. But with hats, they're kind of just typically just looking for a good hat. So if somebody just kind of has your hat underpriced, they might even have a different hat, but a buyer is going to buy it if it's underpriced. And that makes it even easier for the market to go down, since you're competing against all hats instead of just specific hats, at least typically. However, with books, typically you're not competing against all books when you list the Spotted Panther. You're just competing against other copies of the Spotted Panther. And this buyer paid $12.72 to get this delivered to them. You know what? I want some cardboard to like wrap around this. Where are my... Here they are. These look good. And because of that, I just don't want to go into the hat category right now. I don't want to go deeper into it. I think with AI and all that stuff, it's going to be really easy to list hats. So if you've got a good supply of hats, you're going to be able to get a lot of listings. But so is everybody else. So I don't know. It just looks like it's going to get even more competitive, the hat market. But you know what? If I come across a tote of hats and they're free or basically free, I'm probably still going to take some Friday afternoon, photograph them all, list them with List Easier, and throw them up. But I'm not seeking them out. I'm not paying a bunch of money for them. But if they're there and I have them and I don't have to pay for them, you know what? I don't mind listing a tote or two of hats a year. Actually, I did list some hats this year. I remember now. I listed one tote of hats that we got. That came through a source just like that, where I didn't pay any money for the hats. So that's right. I did list hats this year. I remember doing that now. It's been a while, but we did that. Sewing machine parts. Little thread tensioner. Let's see if we can find this puppy. Or if we need to search for it. Yeah, let's just search for it. Where is it? Should be right here. There it is. Buyer is all in $17.40 on this sewing machine part. My goal when I price the sewing machine parts is for them to be all in around $20 to $25. However, this stuff does go on sale. I do markdown sales in my store. I do send offers. I do accept offers on these parts, because when a buyer comes along, if in their mind they're not wanting to spend more than $15 to fix a machine, I still want to be sure to make that sell. Up next, I got 3 parts to a meat grinder. It's the right time of year to be selling meat grinder parts. We are getting into like hunting season, that part of the time of year where people are needing meat grinders to grind meat. So sold 3 parts to one. It was the last 3 parts I had to that machine. Guessing somebody was restoring one or something. I think got stuck in me. So glad to see these going out to the same buyer. And since this person checked out altogether with them, I can ship it with VQuo. That is where I do my shipping at. I have found, I don't know how, if they check out separately, I don't know how to combine them on VQuo yet. So if anybody in the comment section knows how to do that, knows how to combine orders, let me know, because I have not figured it out. There's definitely a way, because it sometimes tells me at the top, like, mergeable orders. And I can see that they're mergeable, but I've not figured out how to merge them yet. If they check it all at once, it's totally fine. Up next, a skirt. Another item from the Legacy store. Buyer is all in $14.15. I think most of that was shipping. But this thing looks pretty light. It's 9 ounces. So I think we're going to save a little bit money on shipping. Basically, all the money we're going to make is because we overcharged on shipping, which I think is a big part of why my clothing is not selling. I think my shipping rates are too high on it because it's all calculated. This one, we bought it for 50 cents. I can tell that because I forgot to take the sticker off when I photographed it. So in the picture, it's got that 50 cents garage sale sticker on it. But since I photographed it with it on there, I'm going to leave it on there when I ship it out. Normally I take those things off, but I guess that day I must have not been paying attention, or I don't know what was going on, but I left it on there. There was a whole bunch that I photographed that day that were like that too. These are all about Paw Paw Lake, Michigan, which I've never heard of that place, but I've never been to Michigan. Let's see, where is this one? Right there. What did the buyer? How did I just lose it? Oh, it's because I did that. So sorry about this. Buyer paid $30.22 for that book with the 50-cent sticker still attached to the front. Oh my goodness. But I don't want to take it off and like try and accidentally rip the cover at this point. So we're just going to ship it like that. That's still a good ROI, 50 cents into $30. I know there's shipping and fees that need to come out of that. It's not profit, but you get the idea. 50 cents into $20 is good ROI, I feel like. Up next, we do have a sweater. Man, I bought these a few years ago from this guy. He had like, oh gosh, there must have been 500 of what he called granny sweaters or different things like that. And this was in that lot. Sold off the better of that stuff. We still have some of it left. It's a big granny sweater haul, we called it. I don't remember what we paid. That one weighs just under a pound. 15.9 ounces. Okay. And buyer paid $17.40. What's it going to cost to ship this? It's going to cost us $6.29. Not bad. Not great profit, but glad to see some more clothing moving out of the store. Slowly but surely, we're eventually going to get most of the clothing out of the store. I do have a few pieces of clothing to list right now. I have one pair of jeans that my dad dropped off. And then I have a leather jacket and some leather pants that I got from somebody that does estate sale buyouts. They were in with all the media they gave me, so I'm just going to list them. I need to do it. I haven't got to it yet. I need to have, and that's maybe something I can do this week since we're not doing near as much media because I got other stuff going on. If we get some extra time, we managed to finish the easy plan I have for the week. Maybe I can do some of that extra stuff. Another sewing machine part. Buyer paid $24.85 for this thing, but this is off of what's called a Universal Deluxe. I think these were made in Japan slightly after World War II, which any of those machines made at that time, they usually have weird names like that. Universal Deluxe. I could be wrong on that too, but those parts always seem to do pretty good for me. Just looking at this style of part, probably what was going on there. Another sewing machine part. probably be the last sewing machine part we do. Then we'll get back to some books or something. This is off a Kenmore machine. Oh no, it's not. Euro Pro machine. Another good brand I am looking out for. If I see Euro Pro, I pretty much just buy them if the price is decent. Buyer paid $24.85. I think Euro mostly makes like more high-end commercial machines, I believe. Don't know a lot about that brand, but they do have a few more like consumer grade machines as well. $24.85 for that part. Pretty cool. Up next, the Living Bible Paraphrase. This is one translation that does okay for me. Seems like a lot. This was like way more popular back in the 70s and 80s. This particular one is from 1979. This is a large print. Buyer paid $15.97. You're not going to get rich selling these Living Bibles. It's a translation I do not know much at all about. Besides, it was more popular in the 70s and 80s, and I don't know anybody that uses it today. But I seem to sell quite a few of them. A lot of them are large print. They seem to sell pretty good, though. Up next, we got Amateur Photographs Handbook. I ended up accepting a lower offer on this because it had been listed a very long time. However, the guy's negotiating with me. It was like, a lot has changed since this book was put out. Because it's from 1966. And I was like, of course I know that. I was going to accept your offer anyways, just because it was one of the older books in my store. If you go to my store, I think it would have been on the second page if you sorted by like oldest listed. So I accepted an offer of, I think, $4 on it just to move it, get it gone. Yeah, buyer is all in $8.97. It's going to cost us $4.51 to ship. We'll make like $2 on it. Not what we want to be doing, but glad to see it go. Do have CDs as well. It Comes Alive. Lionize Mummies Wrapped in Money EP. I wonder if this is selling because we're at like getting close to Halloween, kind of. I don't know, but buyer paid $22.99. That is neat. I listed a lot of CDs last week. CDs is almost all we listed. We did 130 listings last week. 117 of those, I believe, were CDs. And then the last 13 of those were all video games. That's how my listings have mostly been broken up lately. Is I usually have one category where I'm listing close to my goal. Like maybe it's books. Maybe we'll list 120 books. And then the rest is more, I'm just like listing a few things. And that's usually when I'm filling in a spot on my shelf. Like if you see my shelf over here, there's like a little gap right here. So whatever I'm doing at the end is usually filling in one of those little gaps. And it's been working out pretty good that way. I kind of wish I could just do the whole, we're doing 135 this week, 135 of the same media type. But since my backlog of items is not that big, what is a CD? We should look at it before we put it in here. Bing Bang Boys. I'm feeling good. Since my backlog of listable media is not that big, I usually don't have 135 of a specific media item. For instance, usually don't have 135 CDs or 135 DVDs or 135 eBay books. And since we're using List Easier, it makes sense to group things by category. So I'm usually doing like one category a week. Last week was CDs. This week will be probably DVDs because I think that's what I have the most of. And then filling it in with another category as I see fit or as I need to. I do not see this CD. Oh, here it is. Oh, it wasn't Bing Bang. It was Big Bang. That's why I couldn't find it. Buyer is all in $14.97. Going to Oregon. Pretty cool. So yeah, I'm grouping things by category: CDs, DVDs, books, video games, taking photographs, listing them with List Easier, and usually do not have enough of one category to do just that category for the week. So then I'm using that extra time to backfill what has sold off these shelves, which has been really nice. Last week I went and actually organized the shelves, which has been good. Look at this. World's only living bazooka player. Pretty cool. Buyer paid $14.47 to get that shipped to them. So I reorganized the shelves a little bit yesterday. We condensed a bunch of things. We condensed clothing, we condensed books, all that good stuff. And I was able to actually clear off a whole wire shelving unit. And since I was able to do that, I now have stuff moved around where I can build my next wooden shelf. I'm wanting to slowly transition basically this whole garage to this wooden shelving system that I've been building, just because I can store a lot more media that way. And they're custom built. And like I can fit a ton of stuff on them, way more than I can on like the wire shelving that you would be buying. And the way I have everything stored, which maybe I'll show you guys that at the end of this video real quickly. Yeah, we'll do that. Stay tuned if you want to see how I store things at the very end. So I get that question all the time. It's working great. I can pull orders so much faster this way than my old way. My old way of storing things just like in one box, fill up a box full of books or whatever, put it on a shelf. It was not meant to have fast pulling of items. It was meant to have where I could quickly have SKUs ready when I'm listing, and I could quickly drop off a box at the storage unit, because that's where we were previously doing things. But this type of system with with these custom built shelves, which would have not fit through the doors of my storage unit, it's so much better. I'm so glad that we've moved here, that I no longer have to go to the storage unit 3 times a week, that I can have these shelves, find items so much faster using this new SKU system. We were using a SKU system before, but this SKU system now is just way better. Condensing things like happens automatically. Like if I need to condense the shelf, I just do this. Shelf is condensed. It's so much better. Real quick. Eloy sings country gospel. CD sellers, are you listening to stuff like this? I did. I got $22.47 for this one. I know some people don't recommend listing that type of stuff, but I list it. Ooh, last up. The Workman Bluegrass Band Aerial View. Now, it's got their like faces photoshopped on there. The guy... So somebody messaged me about this almost a year ago and said that they were in this band and they wanted to know where I got a copy of this, because they only put out this cover art one time at somewhere where they performed as a joke. I think it was somewhere in Missouri where they were performing. So he was really interested that I had it. And I told him where I'd gotten it from, which I got it from an estate, where I bought tons of CDs from this family that they could not afford for the funeral, but I bought enough basically CDs and records from them, because I bought them all. I had tons. Made so much money off that. Didn't know I was going to make that much money off of it, but they were able to pay for the funeral because of my purchase of all of the music from the estate. So the guy asked me, like, basically, he asked me this questions about it, and then was basically like, that's cool, I'm not that interested in it. Like, he didn't want it. But he was in the band. He didn't have a copy of that cover art, but he just thought it was funny that I had one. I don't know. Up next, Beyond the Law by Emmett Dalton. So I was glad to see it actually sold because I was kind of worried. The one guy that was in the band that found that CD interesting messaged me and then didn't buy it. Somebody finally came along and bought it. Probably was him. He was buying it 6 months later. It's going back to Joplin, Missouri, which is where that band is from. It's also bluegrass, and there was a big bluegrass festival this last weekend. Actually, here in this town, or was it 2 weekends ago? I don't remember. And maybe I was just noticing it more, but I felt like there was an uptick in bluegrass sales, which would make sense because a lot of my bluegrass stuff is local, so maybe local bluegrass stuff going on helps the sale of local bluegrass CDs. I don't know. Up next, the Personality Puzzle 8th edition. I don't know. This feels like a textbook. Yeah, it's a textbook. Buyer paid $31.72. Now, textbooks, I am just listing those in the regular book category now. I used to put them in the textbook category, but since we are listing with List Easier, like, I don't get enough textbooks to sit around and wait to do a batch of specifically textbooks. So I'm just listing them in the book category, letting them ride like that. I know some people recommend you list them in the book category anyways, but I figured if eBay has a textbook category, it's a good idea to put them in there. I don't know. But for now, especially because it's September, which is like still part of textbook season in my opinion, I'm listing them basically as soon as I can get them up and not hanging on to them building a lot. Maybe if we get into like March, April, I will hold on to them. 2013 Yearbook of the Church of God. This has got like all the different locations of the Church of God. Buyer paid $30.22 for this. Maybe if I get into March or April and I get a bunch of textbooks, I will save them to do one listing in the textbook category. But like, I just can't see myself doing that, especially right now when we're in the peak of textbook season. I'm just going to list them in the book category with all my other books when I'm listing books. I've actually been doing a good job, I feel like, of prioritizing those. When I'm listing books, grabbing all the textbooks first, getting them listed, and then doing the rest of my books later. All right. Printer just messed up for a second. Fed an extra sheet. It does this every once in a while. Probably needs clean. I'm working in a garage here, so sometimes it's a little dirty, but I don't know. That label printed twice. Who knows? Up next, I'm going to throw these in a box. This is a lot. These are all Alfred Hitchcock mystery magazines. Some of these are in fairly poor condition. Actually, pretty poor condition. Buyer, there's 21 of these here. Buyer paid $41.97. And these are going to New York. If these were in like good condition, I would have listed them all individually. But since these are just in like what I would call reader copies, or maybe a beginning collector copies, I decided just to make a big lot of them. List them that way. Let them sell like that. But I sold some pulp. Don't sell a lot of pulp fiction just because I don't find a lot of pulp fiction. I don't know why. I do know a lot. Some people do a lot of business in pulp fiction. They sell a lot of it. They find a lot of it. I just don't. Let's see. Media mail is cheaper than UPS ground, surprisingly enough, going to New York. $8.22 to ship out that package. I think that thing weighed 9 pounds, 6 pounds. There we go. Up next, University. Oh, this book, it's got a sticker on the front saying it belongs to the University of London Library. This is The Invasion of China by the Western World by E.R. Hughes. Buyer paid $26.31. And where's this going? This is going international because it's going to go through Glendale Heights, Illinois. Weighs 2 pounds. Good to see some international sales. How are everyone's sales doing? Do you feel like the de minimis affected your domestic sales? So the change in the de minimis exemption basically means we are now no longer competing with international sellers. So I can sell internationally, but if somebody has this same book in the UK, like, they can't send it to America. This book needs a box. This is Photographic Evidence by Charles Scott. Buyer paid $16.72. This book needs a box because it's fragile. The binding is a little loose on it. I'm so sorry. I just used the loud tape. Let's use the quiet tape. Hope that's better. But do you feel like the de minimis exemption change is helping your business? I haven't really noticed a difference. I kind of thought I would notice a difference because I do know there's a lot of sellers in Canada. There's a lot of sellers in the UK. There's a lot of sellers in Australia that sell books and media, and I'm no longer competing against them. But who knows? Like, I've bought stuff off of eBay Canada before. Like, I haven't last year. I actually had something that I was kind of worried was not going to come through because of the change in the de minimis. It had to come through, man, like probably 48 hours before that exemption ended. So I'm glad it actually did make it through. I was kind of worried it would get turned around at the border because Canada Post can be slow sometimes. But it made it through. It worked out. This knife is getting a little dull. I need to get a knife sharpener in here. So what I'm doing now is I'm just resizing the box. I'm doing that so I don't have to put as much void fill in it. It makes a better box for this book. It probably would be a good idea for me to keep like some smaller sizes of boxes on hand for this type of book, but if you've watched a lot of these videos, this is not something I do all the time. This is something I do maybe once every other week, maybe every 3 weeks, where I resize a box down for a big book like this that needs it. Doesn't happen very often. We'll put a lot of tape on this because I'm still not sure how much I trust this quiet tape. Did I accidentally close out of my window somehow? Let's look. There's the window. It somehow got moved over there. Let's go grab it. Probably hit something with that box. Anyways, the book weighs 8 pounds. It's going to cost $6.40 to ship it. Buyer paid $16.72. What is that worth my time? I don't know. That was one of the older books in my store, so it sold on a pretty good discount. I do markdown sales on the oldest inventory in my store, and I have those sales basically end at the end of the month. So it is currently the 8th. So some of those I have been restarting. So what I do is I go into the oldest 2,000 items in my store, and I'll start a sale on it. Usually do that like the first, second, third of the month, whenever I can get around to it. And then anytime I feel like I'm having a slow day, I'll go to the next 2,000 oldest items, start selling those. And I'll just kind of continue that on throughout the month. Up next, a lot of 15 Junie B. Jones books sold for $13.72. Going to Indiana. Junie B. Jones is not, it's not a set of books where I'm necessarily trying to save them up. But if I come across 15 of them there, honestly, that's not even really worth listing. You about need the whole run. But actually, these might have come. No, they did not. I was gonna say those might have come from my daughter, but I know she had more than that. At one point, I was collecting all the Junie B. Jones books for her, and so I was buying them and building lots. That was more just so like I could buy a lot of books, pick out the one or two that she needed, and then sell the rest on eBay. Back when I was doing a lot more garage sales. This is sewing machine part to Singer 403A, which is a good machine. Buyer paid $24.85. We're getting down. There's not much left on here. This is great. But we have been filming for 37 minutes. Actually, a little bit longer than that because we hit stop earlier. I think I'm about out where I want to stop the video. Let me just show you guys what we got left. We got one more sewing machine part. Any sort of these, like, they're made differently on different machines. This one's off of Kenmore. It's got the little pokey end on it. Anything that like extends the size of the sewing machine so that you have more room when you're sewing, these parts sell great. I probably should be pricing them higher, but I don't always. We also have these to a Harley. I don't really understand what they are, what they do. I think maybe you can put stuff in them, bags of some sort. And we have an exhaust manifold. Exhaust manifold is going to go in this box. It's a 24 by 14 by 6 with plenty of packing paper. That's all we got left for today. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed me rambling about my business for the last hour while you guys were probably working on your own business, go ahead and subscribe. If not, oh well. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.